So here is the nightmare I'm dealing with today. We have now officially not moved aboard the boat. We're staying in a hostel for a bit, but our boat has a bit of issues. Nothing major. I mean, just some plywood and some fiberglass will deal with the deck, but there is a lot of moisture in this damn boat. It's the floors are nice and solid still. They're still solid, but the bilge just keeps filling and filling and filling because out on our messy deck that the previous owner was supposed to clean off, there is missing fiberglass sheeting on the top where a cabin was built. Apparently in the paperwork it shows that there was a cabin along the top of there where all that damage over there on the gunnel is. So I have to resheet the entire back of the cockpit with plywood, which is going to suck. I have to wait till it's dry because I don't know if you can see the sky here and the waves. It's raining, been raining for 4 days straight, and got my jinky. Don't even have dock power we're at a big old dirty dock in the middle of Ganges Harbor, and I don't know what the electrical system on the boat is completely like after all the damage that's been done to it. The paperwork was not updated, so before I even have it fully registered or anything, I'm going to go through all the power and everything. But I have my bilge pump here hooked up to just a battery to pump it every day, so I row out with my dinghy every day and just keep the bilge empty so that it isn't filling with water and our whole entire cabin doesn't end up with water in it. Big old dirty bed here, which is awesome. All our clothes and stuff are just kind of scattered about because we're staying in a hostel and we don't want to carry around everything we own. The only thing I'm not leaving on here is my guitar because it'll end up getting too much moisture in it and ruining it. Huge V-berth, which is awesome, but again, issues that were not checked properly by the survey. There is no cockpit here, or the hatch doesn't have a window, so I'm gonna have to install that. There's a lot of moisture on the ceiling in some of the places here. There's a little bit of moisture here, just from the humidity inside of the boat. It's very warm today. It's about 14 degrees or 13 degrees out when the sun comes out, so it's just warming up the inside of the boat. It's dry, it doesn't feel damp to the touch, anything, but it's a fucking mess, and didn't really expect it when I bought the boat. The girl who owned it before me, her stuff was still stored on here and was supposed to be cleaned up and taken out. She even left 3 bags of garbage, which is a kind of a dick move. But yeah, I have a generator and a propane tank and all that nonsense. But for the time being here, our main concern is getting this boat dried out. So we have a big potbelly stove here that's jinky and rigged up kind of funny, but it works. And it'll dry the boat out pretty well. Once we get a few days where Desiree and I can come out and stay on the boat for a few nights, we're just gonna burn and burn and burn and burn and burn as much wood as we can and get the boat dried. Nice thing about it, the companionway is huge. You don't have to crouch or duck to get into it. I do want to build myself a nice little set of stairs down here. Make it a bit easier getting in and out of the boat. But other than that, I mean, it's a big companionway. It closes nice, it seals, it's dry as a bone here. And it's a massive cockpit when it's not filled with tarps and propane tanks and junk. It's a massive cockpit, so it's going to be cool to have that finished. We're boarding it off in the next couple of days. I've just got to go grab a few sheets of marine plywood and some, I have silicone in here for like outdoor marine silicone. I'm going to get that fixed up. It's just overwhelming, obviously. I've been stressing every single day. I knew when I bought the boat, like I saw it, I knew it was going to be an issue. But I guess the thought of owning a boat and then owning one is two different worlds of completely, because this This is a bit overwhelming, obviously. I've been stressed out. It rains like a motherfucker on this island. It never stops. Basically, you wake up in the morning, it's rain, you go to bed, it's rain. All throughout the night, it rains. And so when you're on, you know, like I'm probably half mile, maybe a little more from shore. It's way over there where you can see that green roof and that flag over there. That's the harbor. That's where the harbor master's office is. So it's pretty far row, and if it's really rough conditions in our little dinghy, it's, you know, we have a 9-horse dinghy here that we can use, but we also have a little rowboat that we use, and it's not the greatest in rough weather. It'll flip, and you can't even take 2 of us in it really, because it's not that safe. So it's one at a time, coming out and back and forth and taking loads of stuff to the harbor and paying money, like $6 a bag for garbage or $3 a bag for garbage, depending on the size of them. So yeah, that's the update. It's a safe boat. It floats. It's got a hull that is got to be 3 inches thick, easily, minimum 3 inches thick. Like, it sounds like concrete when you hit the side of it. Like, it's like good and solid. So, you know, it needs work. But here's the deck. It's still got ropes and crap all over it that I've got to clean off. I've got to get a proper cap for the stove there, for the stovepipe. We just put on a pot to keep the water out. But yeah, I mean, it's rigged. Here, I'll flip this thing around. It's rigged really nice. It's got a bunch of sails. I've got a Genoa. I've got 2 jibs in the front, and then a couple of other sails that I don't know where they are. Got my jib pole over here. But yeah, I mean, we have everything we need. The bones of the boat are great. It's just the interior needs to be basically gutted. The bed frame and everything is in phenomenal shape. It's not even wet. Barely. I mean, the bottom edge got damp the other night when it rained, like a foot of rain in one night. But everything else, I mean, it's a solid, well-built boat from the 70s, so I'm not worried about it sinking. The hull itself was dove on the other day and has still good bottom paint on it, but it's going to be repainted this summer. Yeah, cosmetically it looks like a hunk of shit, but it's my hunk of shit. Our hunk of shit, sorry. My wife would kill me if she heard me say that. But yeah, it will be, I'll just keep updating here and there, and you guys will be able to see the entire process from this hunk of shit to what it's going to look like maybe even around a month from now. I think I give myself a month to get it. I was going to fiberglass the entire back of the boat. I obviously have to fiberglass sheet it, plywood, seal each bulkhead, and reattach like the scupper tubing and everything. Once I get that down, then I'd be able to build the back bench seat. I'm actually going to put cedar. The mill here has cedar cutoffs that they give away, like all the way up to the 24-inch widths, raw sided, or you can have it planed for a few bucks. And I might have that, they just wrap it around like the back edge of the top, like a back bench seating, and then seal around that in between each of them and make it look really pretty. But I'm not planning on crossing the fucking ocean in this thing. It's a liveaboard that's not going to move from this harbor. Like, we moved it from our janky old dock way over there by that post. We moved it from that dock because it was too tiny for this big boat, to this big, huge, like concrete covered fisherman's dock. And it's a lot safer. It's not bouncing around. I tied the boom down a bit because it was bouncing around in the wind. And I was going to rig a tarp up, but then I realized it was going to throw the boat all over the place in the wind. And I don't really want to put any more stress on my ropes or those damn cleats, because I don't know how solid they are or how they've been tied up before. So, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Take care. Our dock. This is our dock here in Ganges Harbor. It's long, it's messy because he's a fisherman and he's kind of busy all the time pulling up other people's sunken boats. He floats a lot of boats. But yeah, we have our, not too sure on these cleats here, how strong they actually are from before. So I know it's janky looking, but I had to triple or double up the rope here and scope it out to this cleat, the closest cleat I could get to with the little rope. But then, to take the pressure off that cleat, I put it around my winch, which isn't the greatest idea, but it works. And then I have a third line just in case, which definitely needs to be moved off the back pulpit to this cleat down here as well. And then up here on this messy boat, yeah, there's 3 or 4 lines here. There's one scoped across the dock here to his other cleat over here, and there's no chafing yet. I'm pretty lucky there. It's been pretty calm. The boat doesn't move up and down or list very often, or very much anyways. It does often, but not very much. A few feet, and I've got a breast line here, kind of just keeping it from moving up and down too far. And the tides here today, even with that weird moon that's going on, the tides are not they're not that high. The low tide and high tide are only like 6 feet difference or something crazy like that, so it's not that bad, I don't think. And then I got a few other lines here as well, so I mean, it'll be safe. It's not moving anywhere. It hasn't changed. It's been here 2 days since we moved it from the other dock, which I will actually probably show in the rowboat while I'm rowing back. The other dock was way inadequate, and it was banging the hell out of the side of my boat, and it actually scuffed this side right here. It's not down to, it's just a scuff down to the primer, the white paint that was on it below it. The other side has a wear mark. That's a white circle, like about a foot across, just from constant rubbing. I've checked it, and on the inside there's no light coming through it or anything like that. It's not very thin, or you can't even feel the difference in it. So this is the deck of the boat. The windows are cloudy as shit. Here they're solid though. They need to be cleaned and washed and pulled apart, so all the condensation, there's a bit of condensation in them. All of the rub rails here are wood, which is great. And I've checked around the entire boat. There's a couple of little pieces missing here by the anchor and around the front of the pulpit there, but they can be fixed pretty easily. Just, you know, chunk of teak or cedar. And these ones here I'm going to refinish. The deck itself is sound. I'm 240 pounds, and I mean, I walk along it and it doesn't squeak or creak or bounce or anything, so it's solid. The mast is in phenomenal shape, and it's got a ladder for rigging. And when I re-rig it, well, I won't be re-rigging it. My friend Nathan will probably be re-rigging it because he's a rigger in town here. I'll have to pay him to do that. When it's re-rigged, they'll have all new rope and wiring and everything. So, yeah, we're excited. Here's a better view of the back cockpit. See, it's a mess. She left a generator in here. The generator works, just needs the tank cleaned out. And then 3 little bags of garbage, which isn't terrible, but it's just messy and unkept and hasn't been painted or upkept in a few years. And the bulkheads are all like fairly dry and in good shape. I've knocked on them and stood on them, and they're not wiggly. So if I dry it out and I'm going to put a tarp from here all the way around, and then on the tiller arm, I'm going to, like the tiller there where the boom's attached to, I'm going to put a post up underneath that and attach it to the tarp so that it will tent it off. Because it's leaking back here. The front scupper, there's a front scupper down, just down here, that works just fine. It drains properly, but the rear one has been cut for some reason. I guess the man who owned the boat that died, his son took it over and just sold it for next to nothing because he couldn't sail. He built a cabin, and you can see the outline of where it was fiberglassed in all the way around the rear of the cockpit, and he cut the back side of the seats out, which was absolutely retarded, but he did it. I guess he had his kids living on board, two children living on board in the big bed in the V-berth, and then he slept out on this cabin that he built. And he actually cut a square hole over there, you can see on the bench, and he wrapped it in teak or cedar, I think it's cedar, and he had his, basically a hard dodger, I guess you'd call it, or hard bimini that he slid down inside of there, part of the cabin. It's just dumb. It makes no sense to me. But that is the update. I will show the dock that my boat was moored at before I get back to shore. So yeah, the last few days here, people have been asking me why the hell I would take on a project like Credence's dirty old boat, the Sea Hag. 2 reasons. 1, because I can, and B, because it's my own home. I own it now. I have, you know, my freedom to do whatever I'd like, whenever I'd like. I mean, weather permitting, obviously. And I also get to wake up to this every single morning. I get to wake up, row out, or open the companionway on the boat, drink our coffee, sit there, and you know, just take in the view. I mean, I get to see. The other day we saw whales in here. Just this lifestyle just seems, you know, it's freedom. That's basically it. It's a lot of hard work. I definitely should have taken my friend Josh's word for it. He told me not to jump in feet first, but that's the only way I know how to do things. I don't think things through the way that other people do, and that's maybe been a downfall in my life, but it's gotten me by, sort of, till now. But you know, who wouldn't want to wake up on this beautiful, I mean, it's February 1st, oh no, sorry, it's January 30th today, and it's plus, I'm sitting here in a sweatshirt and I'm sweating. It's plus 10 right now probably, and the sun just hid away under the clouds. People in Ontario right now are, you know, dying, freezing, you know, minus 20s, minus 30s, and I love the winter, but if it could be like this all year round, or in the winter time, and I can ride a motorcycle around and, you know, live on a boat, well, why wouldn't I? That's just silly not to. But yeah, we have, here's the side of the boat that's got all the paint wear on it from the dock, but we're going to be painting that up quite soon. Once it gets a little drier, obviously, like I said, and it gets a little warmer, paint doesn't cure properly, especially gel coat on the deck. It won't cure in the cold at all. So yeah, this is our beautiful boat, Lunacy, and we're going to, yeah, we're gonna enjoy it, I think. So I know these videos are kind of sporadic and weird, and they don't really have they don't take a proper trajectory for like an updated video, but we've been busy. We're staying at a hostel, we're sourcing out materials, we're trying to barter for work, for trade, for parts of the boat, and also in the harbor here there's a lot of help and whatnot. You can get a lot of help from people, but they're busy too. There's a lot of people that are like fishermen that live on their boats, crabbers and stuff, and some seagulls fighting over food. Oh, there's the sun coming out. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do a bit better. Obviously, we don't have the ability to like just sit on board the boat all day and edit videos, and you know, get to work and whatnot. So I'll try to do my best to be a little more Coen Brothers about this, but it's, you know, it is what it is. It's a blog or whatever for, you know, just updating, you know, people, show them that the progress we're making and whatnot, and, you know, hopefully get some good feedback or even positive criticism, you know, something that we can use to, you know, change something we're doing wrong or better something we're doing okay. The tide is now starting to pull me out. I'm just drifting here in my dinghy, but the tide is starting to pull me out actually quite fast. I'm probably moving at like 2 knots right now, just like sideways. Just cruising along past these boats because the tide's going out. But I'm gonna let you guys go and paddle back to shore, and I'll update everybody when I have the chance to. I gotta go to the lumber yard today and get some marine plywood. There is the janky dock I used to be moored at, which is terrible. I got a little rainbow happening here, going up. I don't know if you can see it, going up and coming right down at that point. What, that lighthouse? Kind of cool. But yeah, that was the janky dock we're at there. And now, we're moored way over there.